Okay, so I got a couple of things here where I want to use my tables to figure out properties. Okay, so let's start with the first one, and I've got refrigerant 22. It has a pressure of 3 bars and a specific volume of 0.05 cubic meters per kilogram. And I want to find that internal energy U here. Okay, so where I like to start is I usually like to start my saturation. So I go to table A8, which is my refrigerant 22 saturation in terms of pressure, because I know my pressure is 3 bar here. Okay, so I go down to 3 bar, and I see that my specific volume has to be somewhere between again, because of the 10 to the third, this would be 0.0007521 and 0.076. I'm at 0.05, so I'm definitely in between these two. The question is how much in between these two. Okay, so at 0.5, I'm about 2/3 of the way through, which means I'm about 2/3 of the way between these two internal energies. Okay, so at this pressure, I need to interpolate between these two values to figure out where between the two internal energy values I actually am. So I'm going to set up a ratio here again. Okay, so that ratio is going to be using my volume here. So I know my volume, okay, and that corresponds, and I subtract off of that my saturated liquid volume, which again is 0.0007521. Okay, and I divide that by the total difference between saturated vapor and saturated volume, which again is 0.0765 minus 0.0007521. So again, this is saturated vapor, saturated liquid volume. This is the volume I'm at versus the saturated liquid. So basically, how far in between these two is the same as I am between my U values. So again, my unknown U value corresponds with the 0.05. My saturated liquid U value that corresponds with this volume is in that table 27.99. And then I go with the saturated vapor and the saturated liquid U value, which is going to be 221.34 minus 27.99. So again, these two correspond with saturated liquid. These correspond with saturated vapor. These correspond with the value that I'm looking at with that volume. So from this, I can just calculate what my internal energy is through algebra, and I find that my internal energy is 153.67. And that is kilojoules per kilogram. Okay, so again, using any two properties, I can calculate any other property. Okay, so now let's move on to this ammonia one. I'm at 5 bar and an internal energy of 1400. I want to find my temperature. Okay, so again, I'm going to go to ammonia, and I like to start in my saturation table for pressure, which is going to be 5 bar. So I'm in table A14, ammonia, pressure, saturation. And I go down to 5 bar, and I slide over to my energy, and I see that for saturated vapor, the internal energy is 1321. Well, I'm at 1400, so I'm definitely above that, which means I'm above that vapor dome into the superheated vapor. So I go to my superheat vapor table, A15, and I go to 5 bar, which is this table right down here. And I scroll down my U until I slide 1400 in between these two guys. Right? So I'm somewhere between 40 and 60 degrees, right? Because I'm at 1391 and 1428. So I'm at 1400, so I have to figure out how far in between that, and I'm the same amount in between the temperatures. Okay, so let me go ahead and set up my ratios here again. So again, my U value is 1400. I'm going to subtract off, what did I say that one was? 1391.74 that I look up in the table. And I take that over the total difference, which is 1428.76 minus 1391.74. So again, this is at temperature of 60. This is at temperature of 40. Okay, and I want to find the temperature that 1400 is at. Okay, so that's what I'm looking for. The unknown temperature corresponds with the 1400. The 1391 corresponds with 40 degrees. And the 1428 corresponds with 60. Okay, so again, these two line up in the table, these two line up in the table, and then this T corresponds with what I'm trying to find. So I can do that interpolation again, and I can find that my temperature is 44.46 degrees. So again, any two properties set my state. So I can look up those properties in the table, then do some interpolation to figure out any other property within the table just by setting up ratios like I've done here.